I don't know where you've been, but you're going to respect this courtroom. My life has proven that it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. From a jailed youth who had my record expunged to becoming the youngest judge elected.
The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding.
In just 15 years. Ma'am, let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Robert Cooper is suing Sidney Cooper in the amount of $1,000. Mr. Cooper claims his daughter agreed to pay his rent for the month and says he discovered she changed her mind when he received a late payment notice.
State your name, sir.
My name is Robert Cooper.
Ma'am?
Sidney Cooper.
All right. And Mr. Cooper, you are suing your daughter for $1,000 for failing to keep an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here today suing my daughter because she made a financial agreement with me and she broke it, and it's cost me considerable financial damage. And, I have, that agreement right here which she texted me.
You and your daughter get along? Have you always gotten along? When she was a kid, were you all close? I mean,
Your Honor, I would say that
most times folks can forgive their children, but go ahead. Tell me about your relationship with your child over the years.
I adore her, and I've always done everything I could as a father to provide and be there with them and spend as much time as I could. I feel like we have, something to build life on.
Good, and you didn't get the sense that she resented you in her childhood or anything?
Well, Your Honor, I've had some difficulties in my life that I'm trying to overcome, and I understand that I've done things that they're not always, good for her.
So the answer is yes. She probably harbors some resentment based on something you've done. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. I've made some poor decisions through my life. I have a gambling history, and I'm a gambling addict. And, I've been trying to do everything I can to become a better man, to be that father that I may not have been, that I wanted to be.
Let me hear from you. You give me some background on you and your dad's relationship and the things that he has said today.
Yes, Your Honor, my dad has had a gambling addiction for as long as I can remember. And it has repeatedly caused horrible incidents in my life.
What age did you notice he was having a problem in the family?
I started noticing something was wrong when I was 12. I played soccer, and my dad was suspended from watching our games because they found out
he was gambling on them?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
friendly.
He was gambling on your soccer team as a child.
Yeah.
And got kicked out the league. Couldn't even come see his daughter because he gambled on her games.
Yeah.
Now, you sick. I thought you were talking about casinos.
It was a friendly gesture, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Your Honor, that's when I first started to realize that something was wrong with it. I always just thought it was, normal. I didn't have any other experience of a dad. There's been so many incidences.
Did it cause, what type of financial hardship did it cost the family, if it did?
Oh, we were always struggling to get by. My mom finally divorced him when I was 16.
Okay.
We were never
because
hungry. We were never hungry.
But did he
Excuse me.
provide for you up until at least age 18? They divorced when you were 16. There's 2 more years you needed support.
No, he was never
paid child support.
Yeah, he was never able to help my mom out. And the reason they ended up, getting a divorce was because he started remortgaging the house, and was really, my mom had to stand up for our family and for our livelihood. So the best thing that she could do was to keep him separate, to keep him from, touching her finances.
And so now, how many years later, seems like he's trying to get some of your finances, and we'll see why. Sir, what is the lawsuit about?
The lawsuit, sir, is that, I'm doing everything I can to repair the past. And I know that my past history may not lead up to this perfect picture, but I'm trying to do something right now for my life, and I'm going to meetings. I have a sponsor. I'm putting everything I can in there, and my main thing is I still have a real financial damage going on. So I'm trying to get through that and focus everything. And, you know, I had a month where I just knew I was not going to be able to make rent. I didn't have anybody else to turn to. And I asked, I asked Sid if I could borrow some money, if she could pay my rent. She agreed to do that. And I said, oh, thank you, because I was grateful to that. She was very kind to do that. I needed that help just to cross over on that line. And, 2 weeks after my rent was supposed to have been paid, I get a letter from my landlord telling me the rent wasn't paid, and now I have another $100 on here, so it's $1,000. And I'm doing everything. I mean, I got a job. I'm trying to make everything work again, and it's just like I'm not getting the help when someone tells me they are.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
That's just like a crackhead saying, I just went to the crack house to play video games because the guys there, they like to play video.
And later.
All right, you need to be suing us some more because she's doing it again today.
Clearly.
What's your name?
Tiffany Martin with an I.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Robert Cooper, who is suing his daughter Sydney Cooper for breach of contract.
Let me hear from you, ma'am. He's trying to sue you, alleging that you promised to give him $1,000 for rent.
You got it exactly right, Your Honor. In fact, what happened was he did relapse.
How do you know that?
I agreed
I've been
to
going to meetings
generously
every time
cover
I
his
told you I
rent
was. You can
under
talk
the
to my
premise
spouse.
that he had told me that he had been going to meetings. He had told me that he was 90 days clean, and I foolishly believed him. And about a week later, I get a text message from his roommate, Max, which I have here
Who's
as evidence that he was on another bender.
Let's see that, please, Ann.
He was gone gambling, and Max reached out to me to let me know that he had relapsed.
Restaurant.
And so the deal was off.
Did you call him and ask about it? Did
No.
you say, Dad, I heard you relapse?
No, I didn't, Your Honor, because this has happened so many
You spent
times.
2 days at the casino.
Yeah.
Well, you had to win at some point.
Your Honor, I didn't do the gambling. I was there. I'm a restaurant manager, so sometimes I go into casinos and I take a look at other restaurants. I want to
I'm
see
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I want to see what they're doing, become a better person at what I'm doing. That's why I'm going to these Gambler Anonymous, because I need to become the person that I wasn't
Yeah,
before.
but let's get back to this lie. That the only thing you've done is walk through a store and it happened to be a casino in it. That's what you just told me about the 2 days you were missing. The 2 days you were missing, what were you working? Or you're saying you weren't missing 2 days at all? Your roommate said you wasn't there for 2 days. Now, were you or were you not?
I was not there for 2 days. My roommate...
Where were you for 2 days?
I went traveling around, seeing some friends, visiting them at their other restaurants. There's restaurants in the casinos, and I felt like I could really be able to see what it's
Your
like
Honor,
to run a better
Max
restaurant,
is familiar
a better
with what
person.
goes on. Max
I'm
has known
working
me
to
and
do
my
something
father
for
for a
myself,
long time.
and you won't even
He
give me
knows
a
what
chance
to
to
look
even
out
think
for.
about it.
Ma'am.
He would not cause a false alarm.
You know I'm not listening to this. That's just like a crackhead saying, I just went to the crack house to play video games because the guys there, they like to play video.
Your Honor.
2 days. Where were you? Don't give me that. I was visiting friends at a restaurant and it just happened to be inside the casino. Did you play or not?
No, sir.
See, you're lying and you're not ready to be rehabbed because that's the number one thing that you can tell, and that is truth.
But
The evidence of rehabilitation, one of the first is honesty, because everything about addiction hinges on dishonesty. So if you're still engaged in dishonesty, then you're halfway, if not right at the door of going back to the addiction, relapsing into the addiction. So that's what I'm hearing from you, sir. I'm hearing that your roommate turns you in as he should have. He's a good friend for doing that. Any other friend, if they ignore it, they're not your friend. And so she decided she's not going to enable it anymore. So she's a great daughter. And for you to believe that she owes you some money because she wouldn't give you some additional gambling money. All this rent ain't nothing, sir. Who you kidding? You'll go right back to that casino. No, you'll go to the restaurant in the casino. And like a crackhead goes into a crack house. All right, sir. So, first of all, I know you thought, yeah, but she told me. I know you're ready to say it now, but she agreed. It was an agreement. It was an agreement. It was only a one-way agreement, and one-way agreements means they're gifts. An agreement is when two people are exchanging something. That's what, folks, a contract, those listening and watching, there has to be an exchange of value. Otherwise, it's a gift. So, this was a gift that she promised. And the law is, you cannot enforce the promise of a future gift. You can only enforce the delivery of that gift. Once she gave you that $1,000 in your hand, or to the landlord, if she had written that to the landlord or given it to you in your hand, there's nothing she could do. But in this case, because the law is, once the gift is completed, she hands it over. She has nothing to do with it anymore. It is your property. But the promise of a gift is not enforceable. I promise I'm going to buy you a car when you're 16, son, as long as you get at least a B average. Well, son comes home, he has a B average. Dad, where's my car? I'm not going to give it to you. Kid can't sue you because you changed your mind about giving him a car in the future. So, a promise of a gift is not enforceable, and that's what we have here. A promise of a gift that she didn't complete, so it never became yours to sue over. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Dad, when is it going to be enough?
I never did this for the money. I just wanted to see you.
Coming up,
Did you know of her?
Yes, I did know of her.
You knew of her. You knew she was a singer. Did you know she did that event every year? You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Tiffany Martin is suing Tiffany Martin in the amount of $1,500. Ms. Martin claims she lost out on a lucrative singing gig and says the wrong Tiffany Martin got the job when the client confused the two of them.
State your name.
Tiffany Martin.
Ma'am?
Tiffany Martin.
Tiffany Martin is suing Tiffany Martin for $1,500, saying that the defendant got a gig by pretending to be you. All right, you just need to be suing her some more because she's doing it again today.
Clearly.
What's your name?
Tiffany Martin with an I.
Of course.
With a what?
With an I.
That little different word on that little different letter.
But when you hear it, you hear Tiffany Martin, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So
Not Tiffany.
So I've been in the industry for over 20 years
Doing
creating
what?
we're performers. So performers.
Okay.
But this particular gig was for singing. So
What type of venue and what was the audience? What were you singing about?
it's an anniversary party for a company that happens every single year. And I've actually been with that company for 8 years. So every year I perform and they say, I'm looking forward to seeing you next year.
What occurred this time?
So someone else is working there, like a new hire, and the assistant. So I guess they told her to reach out to Tiffany Martin to book for the gig because they know me. And she went on Instagram, and I'm guessing book her.
Coming up,
You had reason to believe it was a mix-up.
I did not, Your Honor. I did
Yes,
not
you
know.
did. You're smarter than that. If they've been using it, you just said, I know they had been hiring her in the past. And out of the blue, they contact you. You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with the case of Tiffany Martin, who is suing Tiffany Martin for lost income.
How long you want to be in there before she can use the name her mama gave her?
She can use her initial, like put her initial.
What do you want
in
to do when she go home? She's gonna make you change your name. So go home and tell mama she made you change your name. See how that work out.
I
You
highly
see how
doubt
it work out.
that.
She's gonna be at your front door. What you telling me to change my child's name for? You sound crazy. No, but in all honesty and within the law, what you're referring to primarily is a trademark for entertainment purposes or for commerce. And that's the only use in which you can get a trademark of a name is for use in commerce. And it is very strict in its limitations. Did you intentionally deceive anybody?
No, sir.
Tell me about your reputation in the industry.
Like I said, I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm fresh out in LA I come from Chicago. And I've only been doing it in LA for about a year. But like I said, they emailed me on, they text me on Instagram. They see how my name is spelled. They see my picture.
Did you know of her?
Yes, I did know of her.
You knew of her. You knew she was a singer. Did you know she did that event every year for 8 years?
Not every year, but I've talked to her before, and she's told me she's done that gig before, but I didn't know it was a consecutive.
You had reason to believe it was a mix-up.
I did not, Your Honor. I did not know.
Yes, you did. You're smarter than that. If they've been using it, you just said, I know they had been hiring her in the past. And out of the blue, they contact you.
But not
you have the same name.
consecutively.
And you do the same thing she's doing. You know it wasn't you know it was a mix-up.
I honestly didn't know they would book her consecutively for 8 years.
You said a couple. You knew they booked her a couple of years, and they did not know of you. They did not know you existed.
But that's why I felt so good. I thought somebody was actually noticing my talent.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. I'm going to dismiss your claim. You have no superior rights to the name. And the people who are liable are, if you say they usually hire me and they don't, and they made the mistake of hiring someone else, they made the mistake. The people who make the mistake pay. But they're going to say, we didn't have any intention of hiring you. We wanted to hire her. They're going to lie and say that. Charge them double next year.
I will. I have the evidence, so.
That she used it. I know she used it.
I have
that
evidence that they said they made a mistake. Like there's somebody that made a mistake.
And that's the negligence you're looking for. That's what negligence is for the most part. It's a mistake. It doesn't have to be, it's not intentional, it's a mistake. But we pay for mistakes. Most of society. We got the highest level of society don't have to pay for their mistakes. But us little folks do. Have a good day.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I will have my name trademarked so she can stop acting like she's me.
I'll be trademarking it, and I will not be changing my name. I deserve this name.
Okay. Step this way, please.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.